So for me today, I find it very easy to accept people because they don't necessarily need to be like me.
Growing up in a very, family which is everybody are giving you a lot of knowledge and at a young age. So how has that formed your worldview? Because if people are fairly highly educated around you or not very, they understand the politics, the economics and what's happening rather than just being told through the media and the newspaper. So you have a bit more filtered or more a clear view rather than more of a hazy view of what things are happening. How has that changed your worldview of things, the way you look at things, the way you problem solve, the way you look at challenges in your life?
I think the first thing is, though we're three girls, I don't think my parents ever made a distinction between, had you been boys, it would have been different. Mm-hmm. We were made to think broadly. We were actually, we were taught to question and not, maybe they regret it because I was a really bad teenager. I think I just questioned everything to the other extreme. But we were always taught to question why you're doing something, understand why you're doing something. You don't have to have blind faith. And because I think we were exposed to so much, I would say a lot. My grandfather actually was a wonderful storyteller. And because we lived very close, we had apartments just across from each other, spent hours and hours listening to him. And lots of qualities that came through. And also how you see the world, because for instance, I'm talking very personally, I do not see the world as black and white. There's very little black and there's very little white and there's huge amount of gray. Mm-hmm. So for me today, I find it very easy to accept people because they don't necessarily need to be like me. You are who you are. And if I want you as a friend, I have to accept you as you are. If I don't like what I see, well, then I can move away. I cannot expect you to change because it doesn't suit me. Mm-hmm. And I think that is tolerance and acceptance. You must understand that you cannot change people. And I think I learned that also when I got married and realized that I can't change. Maybe I wanted to change somebody to suit me, but it doesn't work like that. So you do learn the hard way. Life is a very good teacher. So I think that is what we have, because I see my sisters also, and I see our children, and we realize how it's important for us to hand down the values that we've learned. So our children are extremely tolerant of everything, the way you mingle, the way you accept people for who they are. I think even in my leadership roles, understanding people, knowing that I cannot put a square peg in a round hole. As a leader, I have to understand that it is my duty to find the square to fit the square. It is not, you will not change. And I think that broad view of life is something that I picked up along the way. And mistake not, I think my father is fairly traditional in his views, but yet he never put on blinkers. He never told us this is the only way. So they have let us be who we are. They've loved us for who we are. They've tolerated my sisters actually are very good girls. I'm the only troublesome one. But I think just having a wonderful support system in terms of family is just, there's no substitute for that.
And I think that thought process of the way you said, you're trying to ask questions, and the more questions you ask, the more clarity you have.
Yeah.
And the solution becomes fairly apparent. You don't need to say this is a solution, but the solution becomes more apparent because you asked so many questions.
Correct.
So the solution is yes, that's how you should be. That's logical.